All right, guys, welcome to today's video. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the results of wealth inequality and why you should be paying attention to it. I'm telling you, wealth inequality is going to be a horrible thing for Americans as time goes on. I live in a developing country here in the Philippines, and I see even greater wealth inequality here and in this country. And I'm not going to get into a lot of the details about that because this is I'm a guest in this country and I don't want to be offending people, but I am going to bring some things up here and there that I hope you pay attention to. So I want to start this video off with this clip. It's kind of an old video, I think, on the TikToks, and I think it's made its round. I know it's over a year old. It's not something new, but I ran across this video yesterday and it really hit me pretty close. So let's go ahead and watch it.
I don't know how any of you guys are going and going and going. I know you gotta be at the same level of mental health as me. Every day it's something new. Between the fucking news and the fucking stupid Biden and stupid Trump. And this country's fucked. Every day we're spending more and more money. None of us are getting ahead. The rich people are the ones that are fucking getting ahead. I'm tired of struggling. I've done everything I can. I'm trying to be a good man. I take care of my daughter. I take care of my wife. The best I can. I can't keep going. Every day it's something new. And then on top of that, as if you're not trying to spend money, you have to. Fucking everything's expensive. I own a painting company. I still can't fucking make it. I'm fucking trying, man. I can't look at my daughter and my wife and know I'm failing. I'm fucking Everybody wake up. It's time to stand up. It's time to be tired of this. It's our turn to fucking eat. I want to eat. I want my family to eat. I want you guys to eat. Stand up. Let's go. Stand up, man. Let's fucking eat. I'm tired. Let's help each other. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care what fucking color you are. If you are not eating and you're struggling, eat with me. Let's struggle together then. Let's be a team.
So yeah, guys, that's a hard one to watch. It really is. And I understand there's probably going to be a few people of you in the comments that are going to leave some snide remarks. I suggest you don't do that. I will call you out. Because unfortunately, whenever I was watching this video and I was scrolling through some of the comments, I saw the video first on YouTube, and then I went and looked it up on TikTok, and I saw a lot of snide, nasty remarks. And the lack of empathy in this world nowadays never ceases to amaze me. Absolutely ridiculous. And like I said, this video here hit me very close to home. I've been that guy before. Not necessarily over finances. I've been close over finances. I've been through a couple divorces, and so I understand what it feels like to lose everything. to not be good enough, and so on. My situation was a little bit different than that, but here's the deal. A lot of people go down that mental health road and it all feels the same, but everybody's got a little bit different story on how they get there, right? So like, you can't come to me and say, well, I know how I know what you're going through. No, you probably don't know what I'm going through, but yes, you may know how I feel. And that's a fact. I may not know what this guy is going through. In actuality, I have known that. But there's a lot of you guys that may not even be able to relate because you've been blessed. You've been blessed. You were fortunate enough to get a good, steady job. You've been able to make some good business decisions, so on and so forth. Some of you guys that are watching my channel are probably living in a nice retirement somewhere, and just like I am, and I've been fortunate enough to do that. And so maybe I can't necessarily relate with this guy on everything he's saying, but I can. I will just tell you I can without going into my history. But the thing is maybe you have felt the same way he has felt for one reason or another. And that is something that we can all agree on. Guys, you know, I haven't talked about it much on this channel, but I was a police officer. I retired as a police officer. I did that job for 20 years. And towards the end of my career, I was a crisis negotiator. I was also a CIT officer. And I worked the street till my very last day on the job. And it was more and more and more prevalent that we were going to calls and talking to guys just like this and dealing with stuff just like this. Let me show you another little clip here, and then I'll talk to you a little bit more about this.
This is the final photograph of Philip Herron. He was 34 years old, crying in his car just minutes before taking his own life. Philip was a single dad struggling to pay the bills. He was over $20,000 in debt and was desperately waiting for a payday loan. When he died, he only had $4 in his checking account. He didn't think there was any other way out. Like a lot of people, especially in men, he kept all of this to himself. No one else knew how bad things were getting. This poor man had to tell his children that Santa Claus wasn't coming this year. And in the note that he left, he wrote his children that they would be better off without him. And now, he's gone. People, if you are struggling, you need to talk about it. You don't have to do this alone. If you're struggling with your mental health, tell someone. I'm here to tell you that you have a purpose. God loves you, God created you, and He can save you. In Jesus' name.
Okay, guys, and so, you know, this is a story about somebody that took his own life because he was in a bad place financially. You know, he felt like he was a nothing. And I think for a lot of men, even my age, I'm 56 now, in my range, kind of middle age or whatever, a lot of us go through this sort of thing. Now, I understand you guys are going, well, Tim, where in the world does, you know, the wealth inequality come in this video? Well, I'll get to that here in just a minute. I'm a little bit long-winded. I'm from Oklahoma. You know, I got a lot of that Southern blood in me, and it takes me a while to tell a story sometimes, so bear with me on this, but I'm going to make a good point on this video. You know, the thing is, you know, we all go through these hard times, and like I said, a lot of men my age are feeling this right now for one way or another, for one story or another. We're all kind of feeling this way, or we have felt that way, right? I've gone through my spell where I had to get some help, and I had to find somebody to talk to about it. And, you know, thank goodness I've come out of that. I've completely uprooted, moved to a whole nother country, and getting to do some things that I never thought I would be able to do living here. Is it an easy life? No, it's not. But is it better for me? Yes. Most of you people watching this video could not live the life that I'm living. And I'm not going to, you know, blow smoke up your butt and tell you it is. It's a great life. And yeah, come over here and do this. No, it's different and I enjoy it, but most of you guys would not. So I'm not trying to promote moving to a foreign country and doing that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you that, you know, change can be a good thing, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that. Now, when it comes down to wealth inequality, in these stories, that the first gentleman, you see the paint on his hands, the paint on his clothes. He's a working guy. He's a blue collar guy. And, he's just going out there trying to earn a living for his family. And we've all done that. But whenever it's not enough, especially for a man in his middle age, or even a young man like this guy is, I think he was probably in his 30s, maybe early 40s, something like that. And yeah, I do call that a young man nowadays. Yes, it's very, very hard on a person when they go out there and they're working hard. These aren't people that are just, sitting back and, sucking off the government teat or something like that. No, these are working people. These are the working poor. And they're just trying to make a better life for their family. That's all they're trying to do. And it's like they can't get it done. The American dream is lost. It's lost to them. And what angers me is there's a lot of you folks out there that probably ain't too far off from him. You're one paycheck away from being in this gentleman's boat, if not worse. But you'll sit back and smugly say, well, I enjoyed eating my popcorn watching this, and I wish I'd have had some butter on my popcorn. Well, he got what he voted for. Well, guys, any of you guys want to sit there and talk that nonsense? I believe this video was filmed last year. It's over a year old now, or almost a year old. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. The point is wealth inequality has been completely ignored by both political parties in the United States. Neither party's doing a thing about it. And life is getting more and more difficult for Americans now in 2025, and it's going to continue to get worse. Right now we're seeing, gas prices drop. We're about to see another oil bust in the United States. And a lot of y'all are going to be celebrating, going, yeah, look, we're being successful, we're winning. No, an oil bust is not a good thing for the United States, especially for the guys who work in that field. A lot of them just lost their jobs, and they are good, hardworking guys that have grease under their fingernails, people that you would probably not want to sit next to in a restaurant because you think you're too good for them. But these blue-collar working guys are the ones losing their jobs out in the oil patches. They're going to be the ones that's losing their job. Rig counts are already down right now. Guys, I'm not an oil and gas expert. I suggest you go watch Mr. Global, his channel here on YouTube. He is an oil and gas expert, and he's got a lot to say about it. And his prediction is that after the bust, then there's going to be a very huge demand for oil because producers in the United States are going to quit producing. When they can't, it's not profitable for them to drill because prices are in the 50s or below per barrel of oil, they're going to stop. And when they stop producing, then guess what's going to happen? There's going to be more of a demand. And then when there's a higher demand, the price of oil and gasoline is going to go up. It's just the way the markets work. I've learned a lot about this from watching an expert's channel on this, and I suggest you do the same. Educate yourself on that. But anyway, guys, what I'm saying is when gas prices start going back up because of the bust and the price of things at the stores are going up and it costs more to feed your family, to put gas in your truck, to go to work, if you still have a job, this is the result of it. People are going to get desperate. And so the first thing I'm going to say about this is keep an eye on your neighbor, keep an eye on your coworkers, talk to each other. I know that's something a lot of us don't even do anymore. I've got a lot of people I thought were friends, people I used to talk to, never hear from them. And I get it. I moved away, but that started happening even before I moved away. It's just the sign of the times. It's the culture of things. And this is a worldwide issue. Now, again, I live here in a third world country, in a developing country, however you want to phrase that. It's all semantics, whatever. I live in a country where wealth inequality is even greater than it is in the United States. And I see things like, yeah, you want to go buy a piece of property? Well, yeah, go talk to the doctor or go talk to the rich person down the road because they own all the property. The poor people don't own anything anymore. And you know why? It's because at some point in time, they had to take the deed to the family's land to the hospital or to the doctor and say, hey, I need my family member taken care of. This is all I have. This is all the wealth I have. My only asset. So guys, back in America, let's take things back to America. We're not addressing the wealth inequality problem in the United States. Neither political party is doing it. And so we're going to continue to see things get worse and worse and worse. Watch economists like Gary's Economics and watch some of these others that are really paying attention to the wealth inequality problem and are not being silent about it. The media, everybody else is being completely silent about it. And nobody's talking about it except for a few people like me. And that's why I'm doing this channel, is because, guys, I'm not an expert. I'm a nobody. But if I can learn from the experts and then take their information and spread the word, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm trying to do here, is spread the word. Because I do feel that it is something extremely important. And whenever you watch videos like this, and guys, I have been out on these calls time and time again where I've talked to these people. I've had my fellow negotiators be on the phone with somebody when they did pull the trigger. I've had, people jump and I had to go cut them out of the tree while I was trying to talk to them. Those are facts. The thing is it's going to become more and more prevalent the more desperate people feel. Mental health is going to become an even greater problem than it is currently, and it's bad. It's going to get worse, especially when you live in a country like the United States where, okay, we were taught, all of us were taught, that you do the right thing. You go out, you work hard, you live life, you follow the rules, you follow the laws, you do the right things, and you can get ahead. And when you can't do that, and you feel like that everybody else around you is doing that because of social media, then that kills your mental health. It makes you feel like a failure. It makes you feel like a nobody. And so we're going to see this problem escalate and escalate and escalate. Do we need more mental health workers? Yeah. But I can tell you one way that we can solve a lot of the problems is just talk to your fellow coworkers, talk to your friends, and be an ear for them when they're going through their hard times. And instead of trying to be some smug asshole making rude comments on TikToks or YouTube, have a little empathy. Because you might be the person in that boat here directly. It could be you in the future that lost your job. Look at all the people that thought, finally I've made it. I've got me a federal job and, I can kind of breathe a little bit easier because I have job security. Look at all the thousands of those workers in the United States that lost their jobs. And then you've got politicians out there calling them parasites. Calling them slugs, calling them whatever. And they just lost their job. They probably lost everything. They may be losing their homes. They may be losing, everybody's a little bit different, but their life changed. And you look at social media and you look at the way people respond to that, and it's horrendous. It's horrendous the way people respond to that and throw the insults out there and the lack of empathy and the nastiness that goes on, all in the name of politics. When the reality of the situation is your politics ain't any better. Nobody's politics out there are addressing wealth inequality. There's only a couple of politicians out there right now that are making the rounds, talking about wealth inequality. And kudos to them. I don't agree with either one of their politics wholeheartedly, but at least they're out there talking about this issue. And so y'all can sit and make your comments and make your cuts about, oh, you feeling the burn, Tim, or, you know, talking about something rude about AOC or whatever. At least they're the ones out there addressing some of these problems. Nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is talking about it. And then whenever some government policy affects your job and you lose your job because your company went out of business or your government job just got slashed or whatever the situation is, and you are going, oh my God, what am I going to do? And you're the one making the TikTok video, pouring your heart and soul out to the world going, why aren't we doing something? You know, I just want to eat. I want my family to eat. I want your family to eat. Why can't we all just get together and we can all eat? And then somebody cuts you for saying something similar. You see how that works? And I get it, guys. All the rhetoric that's going around on social media, the media, you name it, it's all planned. This isn't some conspiracy theory that I just pulled out of my ass. It's facts. Big money owns all the media sources. They control all the social media platforms, and they feed you what they want you to do, and all of it's divisive. You know, I saw a video the other day where they were talking about, you know, why aren't Democrats doing this and why aren't Democrats doing that? None of the talking points, none of the rhetoric, none of the propaganda out there, none of the media are doing anything to try to win votes from the other side. And that's true of the left and the right. None of them are trying to win the votes of the other side out there. If you will pay attention and back out of and see the forest instead of the trees in front of you, you will see that 99.9% of the rhetoric out there is designed to make you hate your neighbor, to hate your own relatives even. I've seen so many of these, especially last year after the election, where they were saying, yeah, don't even invite your family members to Thanksgiving or Christmas. Absolutely ridiculous. It's all divisive rhetoric and it's all planned. And you know why it's planned that way? So the wealth inequality can continue to keep getting worse and worse. That's all it is. And guys, you're going to hear this on almost every one of my videos, and I'm going to keep preaching it until I'm blue in the face. And I got a long ways to go before I'm blue in the face. So anyway, guys, I don't know what it's going to take to finally get Americans to wake up and realize that this is not a war against the red and the blue. This is a class war. And it's a war that the poor and the middle class and the working people did not start. We just want to live our lives. That's all we want. And provide a little bit better life for our kids than we had. That's all we want. Most of us don't have ambitions of going out there and being a big-time entrepreneur and being some big shot or an executive or whatever. We just want to live. We want to go to work, go home, spend time with our families, and be able to put food on the table and a roof over our family's head. That's it. Nothing special. And that's being taken away from us piece by piece, little by little, every day, so that the rich can keep getting richer. So what's it going to take? Is it going to take another Great Depression where we're standing in line in the soup lines with one another and while we're waiting in line, then we can bond with our neighbors and talk to our neighbors about life and mental health and all this kind of stuff? Is that when we're going to have empathy for one another? When we're waiting in line, waiting on a bowl of soup and a little bit of bread? Oh, maybe you guys that never studied history don't realize, yeah, Americans have been there. My grandparents were there. The Great Depression. Read about it. Educate yourself. And yes, can it happen to us again? Absolutely. Maybe sooner than we realize. Is that what it's going to take? Standing in line at a soup kitchen? Waiting for some government bread, maybe a little bit of government cheese or something like that? Is that what it's going to take? I don't know. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.